So we move on to France, and we move on to WWE Backlash coming to Lyon, France, this upcoming Saturday afternoon in the United States. Obviously, Saturday night, 7 o'clock in Lyon, France. It's not, a lot of people might not know the geography too well and might believe that, well, this is essentially a suburb of Paris. It's not. It's its own place. I'm going to guess it's in Lyon, France, and not in Paris, France, because Lyon, France probably paid the WWE a better substantial amount of money to come there. So that's why they're there. I'm going to guess during the pay-per-view, we're going to get a lot of tourism commercials, similar to how we got the Western Australia Perth commercials for Elimination Chamber, and how Elimination Chamber wasn't in Sydney, was in Perth, right? So similar to that, I imagine we're going to get some tourism commercials, talking about that. But SmackDown this upcoming week is in Lyon. And one thing I have to say, and this kind of also adds into that these places picked it, but I believe they still have bigger places to go. I don't really understand. I understand money, sure. I get it from the WWE perspective, making the most amount of money. We talked about that before, about butts and seats versus money. But I feel like these places are they're not big arenas. The O2 Arena is a pretty good sized arena in London. But this arena here, 15,000, I guess, is what you would announce. Maybe, WWE will probably fudge that number a little bit because they can put people on the floor and stuff. So maybe at best they're announcing 16.5 for a sellout for the shows this week in France. And I think that's a low number because you're going to a city you've never been to before, a country pay-per-view wise you've never been to before.
Here's the other thing too with Lyon, France, and I'm just looking up the history of this venue. It's only been open since November. It's only been open 5 months. It's a brand new arena.
Yeah, that's great and all that it's a brand new arena. So that's really cool. I just feel like, hey, we're talking about how hot WWE is right now and how everything is ridiculously expensive and how they're selling out, unbelievable, have these rates of selling out of these places, right? So I guess it's just kind of confusing that when you're going to the idea, I guess, of going to some of these cities partially is because you're going to sell out because you haven't been there and because the product's hot, and to go there, right, for tourism reasons. But also I feel like, and we've had this maybe conversation before on the show, WWE, if they played their cards right, as we've seen so far this year even, you could be running stadium shows essentially every single month. Because while WrestleMania is a big deal here because it's WrestleMania, if you go to Tokyo for Money in the Bank, that's WrestleMania there. When I went to Money in the Bank last year in London, that was WrestleMania there. That was treated like WrestleMania. That felt like WrestleMania because of the idea that it is your WrestleMania. Every time you're going somewhere to be the one and only show in that country for the whole year, it's like WrestleMania, right? So I'm not necessarily saying you got to be selling out football stadiums or any of that kind of stuff, but what we saw with Royal Rumble, or what even we saw with like Elimination Chamber, where they got like 45 to 50,000 for Elimination Chamber. Mm-hmm. I don't see why you couldn't be doing 45, 50,000. Sure, back this card in America, you're probably running Buffalo, right? And and it's not going to be the hottest thing in the world, maybe, but you're in a country where you've been promoting this for months. You've been promoting this as a destination. You've been selling those on-location premium experiences where you get tickets to SmackDown, meet Cody Rhodes before the show, have breakfast with the guys, go on a backstage tour. They've got these superstores opened for all these shows. So they got a store opened up all week long in Lyon, France to shop. Right now, even though I'm not at Backlash, I could go buy myself Backlash merchandise in downtown France as we speak, or downtown Lyon. So I guess the idea is you're making an event out of this. You're making all of these things feel like WrestleMania. You're making the Royal Rumble feel like WrestleMania. You're making SummerSlam feel like WrestleMania. So it's just strange. You're picking these smaller. They would have no trouble. I'd imagine Backlash would have no trouble getting 16,000 people in America, right? 100%. But the idea is that you're going, no lie, I can say Money in the Bank could have went to Wembley. Could have went to Wembley last year. Not saying necessarily would have drew. Well, I take this all back. They could have drew 80,000. All In from AEW is a perfect example that they could have drew 80,000 for Money in the Bank, because All In drew 80,000 again on the sole thing of, hey, we don't get this here a lot. This is a big event, a spotlight on our city, on our country.
Yeah.
Yeah. All In wasn't going to draw 80,000 anywhere in the United States as we see with AEW right now, but it's doing well in England because it's a one-time special
It's in
event.
demand because it's one of those things where you don't get it often.
Yes.
It's essentially like, okay, we might come once a year or once every couple years, so get your tickets now because we don't know when we're coming back.
So why Backlash isn't across the street from this LDLC arena at the soccer stadium, trying to get 35,000, which I don't see why they couldn't, right? Because of the demand, right?
I think they're just. I think it's a test run to see if they could do more in France. I think that's what it is. I get the product's hot, but I think they want to. It's a test run. They want to see. Okay, let's see if y'all can fill up 16,000 seats, and then like if things go well and business is good, and it's I know they're making money, but if they feel like there's a way to make more money, I get that. You don't see it often in France, but I think it's a good chance for them to, okay, if they can fill 16, let's get 35,000 somewhere else.
I guess it's weird to be a test run because despite the fact that they've never had pay-per-views, they've definitely had many events. We saw pictures from house shows in Italy all this week. They were drawing like 16,000, right? So I don't think you need to go to like Rome, Italy next year and do a test run to see if they'll come out for a pay-per-view when you can see now they're coming out for house shows. And that's like another example of how starved this market is. If WWE, when they run house shows, they just ran a house show in London at O2. Got like 16,000 people. I think it was the largest gate WWE's ever got for a house show.
I will say, though, I feel like I get what you're saying, but I do feel like it's a test run from all different perspectives. Like, I feel like what they're going to do is they're going to see how well the merch does. Because here's the thing. Yeah, sure, you can sell out 16,000 seats or 30,000 seats wherever you are. But, like, let's see the entire picture from a dollars and cents point. Like, are they going to sell out of all the T-shirts? Are they going to do this or all that? Because it's not just getting butts and seats. It's the entire maybe the whole tourism package of it as well. There's more to it than just butts and seats. I think if it does well enough from not only butts and seats, but the other perspectives of like sales of merch, then I think they'll expand it to a 35,000, whatever seats they can fit in France.
I will say that no matter how good this event is, and it'll be sold out, and tickets are ridiculous. They start at like $600 to get in the door. But no matter how they do, I don't think they'll probably be returning unless Lyon France has a real good tourism budget, right? As we learned last year with Backlash in Puerto Rico, they were there because the Puerto Rican Tourism Committee paid a big sum of money, WWE, for them to come. And this year around, they're like, oh, yeah, we paid WWE last year. That's great. This year, let's try for, I don't know, some country band or something. Every year you got to kind of diversify. You can't just keep bringing WWE back with the taxpayer money. So that's why they're not going to Puerto Rico this year, right? Maybe they'll come back to Lyon, France for a Raw or SmackDown, I imagine, but it's such a niche market. Like, it's so weird because so many people just assume it's Paris because of the fact that geography-wise, when you think France, you think Paris. So your first dip in the water, this would be as if a company has never come to the United States before. This is like their first ever pay-per-view. This is, soccer for the first time, Liverpool versus Manchester United playing an international match in America for the first time ever, and they're going to Birmingham, Alabama, and not New York or LA, so it's kind of like that kind of vibe to it. But one thing WWE's keeping doing, all right, we're on another pay-per-view where the match card is low, and we don't have a lot of matches on this pay-per-view that are your Elimination Chamber, Royal Rumble, long form matches. This is just regular matches. Regular Backlash card for the most part, regardless of where it is. I would imagine this would be a regular Backlash card if it was in Albany, New York. But you got 3 championships on the line, and then just 1 tag team match for fun. But 5 matches. What do you make of 5 matches? In the sense of, obviously the longest match here is going to be maybe 25 minutes. So what are you expecting for time frame? When it comes to this pay-per-view, 3 hours, right?
Yeah, 3 hours tops. I like it. I like the 5 matches. I feel like AEW should take notes because this is how it's supposed to be done. Because AEW is going to do 3 times that. That's what they do. They just think they got to put matches on for the sake of having matches. Like, we don't need an 8-hour show. Like, get me 3 hours. We talked about this on previous episodes, even recently. I think 5 is good. Going through the match card, like just looking at the list of matches, they're all matches that I want to see, and I'm excited for it. And they're all going to be not like 5-minute matches. We're going to get at least 10 to 15 minutes a match. I would expect that tag team match for the Bloodline, which is Solo and Tonga, which Tonga's having his debut. So it's funny, he's going to have his debut in WWE in France, which is kind of interesting because WWE is an American company. So his debut is going to be at the show this coming weekend. But I think that goes at least 30 to 45 minutes. I think that's going to be a very long formatted match. I also think Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles is going to be at least 25, 30 minutes. I don't see why not. And then Damian Priest, Jey Uso, I think that also is going to probably go at least 20, 25 minutes. I mean, all these matches, like Bayley, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, that's going to go a good amount of time. I think the shortest match of the night for me, just based on just speculation with Jade Cargill, they're exposing her but not overexposing her. So I think the match itself is probably going to go 15 minutes. But I think you'll see Jade for a few minutes.
I don't see the match even going 15 minutes. I think what we learned with them, I think they had the shortest match at WrestleMania. They're
going to have the shortest match on this card, but I think it's going to be a 15-minute match tops.
I imagine it's going to be like, when the times come out, for the matches, I imagine about 9 minutes for this. Here's the thing: Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill are both like essentially Rhea Ripley and Rhea Ripley teaming up together, right? What you're talking a women's champion, formidable foe for any of the women's champions. Essentially the face of the company. People get upset all the time because Bianca Belair is on all these posters despite the fact she's not a champion, and they have her on over like the actual women's champions. And Jade Cargill, as we know, she's being treated. She's the modern day China. She's the modern day Awesome Kong. She's this force that should probably get in and mix it up with the men.
She's a special attraction.
She's a special attraction, right?
And let's be honest, they're working her in slowly. They're not going to overexpose her to the WWE audience, which I think they're doing the right thing. I still think, she's only shown a few of her moves in her repertoire. I do think she's still working on her in-ring game. Even though she was in AEW for a while, I felt like, unfortunately, because, AEW doesn't have a performance center like WWE does, I feel like she's still working as an in-ring person. Like, she's shown flashes of brilliance. But I think what they're doing is, and I think they've learned their lesson with like the attractions of like Ronda Rousey, where like anything more than a few minutes and a few moves, it doesn't look good. So like I think they're slowly bringing Jade along while she's still learning the business, and I think they're doing it the right way. So I feel like in that case, Jade's going to be in the match itself, like in the ring, for maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and that's it. And then it's going to be everybody else.
Yeah, here's a question. Without cheating, do you see the Kabuki Warriors winning this match and leaving as the tag champs?
Oh, that's Kabuki Warriors.
Do you see them? Do you see them leaving as the tag team champs?
No, I don't. I had to think about it for a second because they are really good champions. No, I think they're building Jade Cargill and Bianca as like this force.
That's what I'm saying. Is Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill going to lose clean in this match? I don't see that. Yeah.
No. The only way Kabuki Warriors they actually win that match is some tomfoolery, so to speak. That's the only way. Yeah, Jade Cargill, and Bianca,
with the rest of Damage Control kind of coming out, maybe. You know what I mean? Some Io Sky and all that good stuff coming out, helping out. Speaking of former Damage Control, Bayley, right? Naomi and Tiffany Stratton. Bayley wins the championship at WrestleMania. We gonna keep this going? Is this a formality, or do you see maybe a short title run for Bayley?
No, Bayley's gonna retain. I will say this. I'll call my shot on this one. I think Tiffany Stratton steals the show in that match because I think she's been electric so far. But I do think Bayley will get the pinfall on Naomi. I don't think Tiffany Stratton will lose. She's not going to be the one that takes the fall. I think what they're going to do is they're going to build Stratton into this force where she got robbed of the match. Maybe she got pushed out of the ring or something. Bayley wins the match in a scramble kind of deal. And then Tiffany builds her case for SummerSlam a couple months down the line.
You keep building up towards SummerSlam. We got like 5 pay-per-views before then, bro.
I know, but Tiffany Stratton, I think it all leads up to Tiffany Stratton and Bayley at SummerSlam. That's where I'm thinking at this point.
I'm going to jump to this one, Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles, and I'll kind of allude to why I'm going to jump to it because, I can't see Cody Rhodes losing. I think that'd be a bigger shocker than Cody Rhodes winning at WrestleMania. Him losing, regardless who they put him against. AJ Styles, great opponent for sure. Absolutely could hold the title. No doubt about it. Could be world champion. He's been before. But yeah, I mean, we're just a few months into this new regime of Cody Rhodes as the face of this company. So I just can't foresee, him winning. And I just got to check really quick because I'm kind of got a curiosity here. But if I'm not mistaken, okay, AJ Styles still on SmackDown because I was going to say I was just checking real quick to see if like it was a real foregone conclusion. But Jey Uso is still on Raw. So okay, so the championship matches can stay intact with different results here. I see Cody Rhodes winning this. This shouldn't be. I don't even think it needs to go 20 minutes. I think Cody Rhodes is gonna. I think that might this. Maybe I'm guessing it's your main event, but just because I feel like Cody Rhodes, it's just such a foregone conclusion.
I think it's at least 20-25 minutes. I think it
has a chance to be a good match, but I just overall I think the card, to be honest with you, I like when they announce, and we talk about this kind of at the start of this, is when they announce these cities. These are like they make them up big events. Backlash is coming to France. Get on the pre-sale, do all this stuff, make your travel plans, fly out there, go see this city you've never been to before. WWE's going for 2 nights. It's going to be a week long of activities. Like we're taking over the country, and then when the cards actually come out, they don't feel like this is being treated like a real special thing, right? I feel like the WWE draft overshadowed this card when it comes to especially the build for this card. Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles, yes, it's just getting billed as like, oh, we got another pay-per-view coming up. Cody Rhodes got to defend the belt. That's kind of his MO anyways. He's a defending champion, a fighting champion. But Cody Rhodes is winning this. Shouldn't even be. It's not like Money in the Bank over there where Roman Reigns got pinned and that was like a big, like, hey, this kind of felt like a big deal. This will be remembered. Cody Rhodes pinning AJ Styles. I don't think we see that highlight too much in the future along Cody Rhodes' long reign. I think that's a formality. But the reason I mentioned that one before this World Heavyweight Championship is, we saw Seth Rollins hold the belt for a long period of time. And we were wondering, when is he going to lose this? How many of these long-term champions are we going to have? We had Gunther, we got Logan Paul, we got Damian, we got
Seth Rollins. It's not changing.
I'm calling it. I'm guessing Jey Uso really becomes main event Jey Uso, and he becomes the world heavyweight champion.
Here's what I'll say. There will be one title change that happens, and we already talked about it. It's going to be the women's tag team championships, and that's to me like that's the only thing that I see changing. And here's how I have the match, because I know we have 5 matches, so there's not much to structure. I do agree with you. I think Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles will conclude the night. They're going to be the main event. I think Randy Orton's, Kevin Owens, and versus the Bloodline kick off the show. I think they're going to start off with a banger, and then I think they're going to put probably Naomi, Bayley, and Tiffany Stratton as the number 2 match of the night. I think Kabuki Warriors are going to be that perfect 3 where they split up the 2 big matches. And then what's that leave us? I think they do. I think they might actually go with. They could do Damian Priest and Jey Uso at the end, the second to last match of the night. That's what I'm thinking.
I just feel like Damian Priest, he cashed in Money in the Bank, right? He's not Cody Rhodes. He's not even Seth Rollins. Listen, I like him. He deserves to be the champion. It's a great thing, you know what I mean? But it just reminds me a lot of like
this quick.
I guess my thing is though, like, what is the point of having pay-per-views every single month? And we just went through this long reign where it was just chalk. It was literally champion retained, champion
We're
retained.
We're still gonna have a title change.
What, the women's tag champs? No one cares.
That's still a title change, isn't it?
I guess you're saying all the titles stay except for the women's tag titles.
Yes.
Better question is, when it comes to Uncle Howdy and that group, we seeing it this weekend, or is that going to still be pushed farther to TV? And do the Bloodline add any members this weekend, or do we move to that being in the future?
I'll start with that first part of part 2 question. So the Uncle Howdy and Eric Rowan and all that, like I think they're going to keep that storyline. They're going to build that up more. So I don't see that happening this weekend, to be honest. However, with the Bloodline, I do think we're going to see Jacob Fatu. I think so. I think And I think, and for me personally, I think that I think Jacob Fatu is going to be there, and I think they win because of Jacob Fatu on the bloodline. I think
a lot of people posting John Cena's in France as well. Do you think that is anything that? Do you think he's just filming a movie? Or are we gonna get him like in London? Is he gonna come out and be like, I think France should get WrestleMania, and then wave to the crowd?
I hope not. I don't think we need John Cena. I think this match and what we're building with those matches, those 5 matches on the card, I think it's good enough. I think it's going to be a good show. I just don't like the timing of it. For us in the East Coast, like 12:30, 1 o'clock is on a Saturday afternoon. It's going to be really interesting, but I don't know if I'm going to watch it live. I know we were talking in the pre-show that you're probably not going to watch it live. So if you're not watching it live, are you going to watch it Saturday night or Sunday night?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm going to watch it when I'm next available. I won't be essentially in town, but as soon as I have the opportunity. What's nice? I mean, we live in a world where I can watch it like, if I'm driving home from somewhere late at night, not as the driver, maybe I'm the passenger. Yeah. I'm the passenger, and I'm driving from like 2 hours away, as we talked about, TNA Under Siege event heading to this weekend and stuff. Going back from something like that as a passenger of a car, I could catch up on it then. I mean, you could never do that before. It's just, I've done that before. I think I watched the Backlash before, or some sort of like May or April pay-per-view when I was driving home, when I was coming home from like a baseball game in Baltimore or Washington, D.C., and I had the other person drive while I watched the pay-per-view. It might have been live even at that time because those were Sunday nights.
I think you did watch it live because I think you and I were texting at that point, I think.
So, like, it's like, that is definitely a perk. The streaming service we live in now is definitely unbelievable. You know what I mean? Back in the day, we weren't watching it live. We weren't going to watch it until maybe it came on videotape when we rented it. Yeah, so nowadays, I mean, I'll definitely watch it for sure. There's no doubt about that. Definitely watch it.
I don't know if I'm going to watch it live, though. I know you're not, obviously, but
it's difficult. I will say Saturday, whether it's both afternoon or Saturday night, those are great times for pay-per-views if I'm at them. Those are bad times for pay-per-views if I'm not at them.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not at them, it's probably doing something on a Saturday afternoon or a Saturday night, right? Sunday night, if I'm watching them, Sunday night's the best. If I'm watching TV.
Just stay off social media. That's what I got to do. If I'm not watching it live Saturday, I just got to stay off Twitter, X, Facebook, all the different social media platforms.
It's difficult to do, but yeah, I do our best to do that for sure. And as being a little bit older, we can do that a little bit better. Yeah. But I mean, I'm interested to see. This is the first pay-per-view not in a stadium in 2024. And the 4th pay-per-view thus far this year. And it's crazy because I guess Jeddah Superdome or whatever next month is considered a stadium, right? So, I mean, we're going back to stadium. But then Glasgow's an arena, right, for Clash of the Castle. And then Money in the Bank is an arena for Toronto. So the first arena show, PLE, of the year. Interesting to see the crowd, interested to see, because, we've seen stuff in Montreal before, where that's French speaking, but never where it's truly, and Lyon is not even Paris too. We're not talking like this is like very metropolitan English speaking. I mean, this is the French countryside. It would be weird. I would love to go and see it really what they have available in English when it comes to like merch sales, because again, you're not in France, you're not in Paris, you're not in one of these kind of like dual language, big tourism. Yeah. You can go to Paris and speak English all day and get by just fine, right? I look at it similar to when I'm in Quebec, right? When I'm in Montreal, you can speak English like it's perfectly fine. But you go up to like Quebec City, you run into people who don't know English, and then you start to go into the towns and you're definitely in the place where they don't speak English. Yeah. So it's interesting, I guess, from this perspective, because I imagine being so far removed from Paris and so much into the French countryside, like how much English really exists there. And we've never seen anything like that in a pay-per-view perspective, because we've only seen these other pay-per-views from like the UK.
Yeah.
And then Puerto Rico, I guess, that's English speaking as well. So should be interesting, and we'll definitely be talking about it next week.